you speak English?
Yeah.
Yes. Can I speak to a lawyer or an attorney that represents the National Police Board?
Just a moment. Do you have any name where you're going?
Well, well, I could get names, but I don't want to speak to them. I'm going to be complaining about them. So probably best to speak to somebody else. But any lawyer or attorney that can answer some basic legal questions for the purposes of litigation.
I can't connect you here. No, just a moment.
Well, anybody can be a police officer as well, but anybody who
Yes, I,
claim
under, I understand, but if you
yes.
don't have any name, I can't connect you.
Okay, well I'll
I
phone back.
connect only if you ask my name.
I'll phone back with names.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yes, I'd like to talk to Lauri Pajunoja.
Ajunoja,
Yes.
pahoittelen. Ja yhdistän.
Pajunoja.
Yes, hello. Uh,
Hello?
yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Yes, I have a few questions.
Who are you?
Do I have to say?
I'm afraid yes.
Okay, great. I'm Eric Wizens. I'm a CEO of a corporation in Switzerland. I've
Okay.
reported money laundering and serious crime
All right.
to three in person to three local police stations, as well as in person at the National Bureau of Investigations.
Mm-hmm.
I sent new the yeah. So my first question is, who in Finland has jurisdiction over money laundering? Because I don't know, the websites say it's the National Bureau of Investigations, but
Well,
that's
it
wrong.
depends. It depends of the matter. If the money laundering is done by how to say a corporation or company like a bank, for example, then there is this financial intelligence unit, which every European Union country has as a national unit.
Sure.
And that unit is attached to the National Bureau of Investigation in Finland, in
And
Vantaa.
what about a corporate?
And if the money laundering is suspected to have been done by a private individual, then it's a normal police investigation.
Well, what about a corporation, like a share limited liability corporation, as well as KPMG and other attorney offices? Where would
Well,
that follow?
then there is the possibility that it can be mixed. Like banks, they have these certain
Well, I'm not a bank. I'm
regulations.
not a bank, so I don't care about banks.
Okay.
But I do care about money laundering.
Normal private companies, then it might be so that it's a normal police matter, normal police investigation matter. So which can be investigated in the local police stations also.
Well, then how would a Helsinki police chief investigate something in Tampere?
Usually it goes as such that the authority responsible of the investigation investigates crimes that were conducted in its region. So crimes conducted by Helsinki companies, or if the crime took place in Helsinki, then it's most normal that the Helsinki Police Department investigates it. But if it's done in Tampere, for example, then Tampere has their own police station.
Okay, well, everything happened in Tampere, but but I reported it in Helsinki after after the Tampere police didn't do anything. Not only didn't
Okay.
do anything, but phoned an attorney, like just so that you have an idea of how serious this is. And it's all going public. So this conversation is going public. Everything about this is going public. I had to fix my
Okay.
career. I had to fix my career because the first thing that happens when you report money laundering is attorneys come and try to ruin your life. And I didn't
Okay.
know this. I was naive, but obviously money launderers, they have money. They hire the president of the bar association, who then shows
Okay.
up, tells a story to prosecutors in Tampere, and they put me under investigation. So I
Okay.
report serious crime, money laundering. I'm a chairman, managing director, and CEO of a corporation. I report serious crime in person to Tampere police, and I'm putting my reputation on the line. Obviously,
Yes.
maybe I'm committing defamation because it's all confusing, all this corporate law stuff, right?
Yes,
So
I understand.
and it's stressful. So I don't know if I'm thinking 100% accurately, but
Mm-hmm.
at some point, it's my duty to go to police, and you guys sort it out,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's not my. So then I'm also putting, maybe this will destroy my companies, even if I've done nothing wrong,
It.
just because of the confusion and allegations, and nobody wants to be associated with money laundering and who did what,
Mm-hmm.
etc. Right? So maybe I'm destroying my companies by doing the right thing and going to police, and maybe I will be killed by organized crime. There's just a recent a case about organized crime killing the attorney and a journalist who were supporting a witness in the Netherlands, right? So, however, if nobody does anything, organized crime continues with a free hand. So, like I take just a minute. They phone an attorney who does not even have power of attorney. You can phone him up now. Ask him, where's your power of attorney to represent Eric Wizens? And he'll have nothing. They phone it. I talked to him an hour. He said he was not representing the case. He's not a criminal lawyer. He's like a real estate lawyer. Because I was sued by my landlords because I had no money. The attorneys ruined my life, and then the attorneys go and they convinced my landlords that removing because the company was renting one space and I was renting as an individual another space because we're a small company and it was convenient to do things that way, right? They go and they take the company out of the agreements, and they convince the landlords that also kicks me out, right? So just they did an example of how much chaos is introduced in your personal life when you try to do something about money laundering. Anyways, so a real estate attorney was appropriate for that, and his subordinate was helping me with this landlord case, which eventually gets dropped, so whatever. But anyways, I asked him, I'm like, I got all this other money laundering stuff, right? Asked him for advice. He says he's not representing me on these criminal matters. Then police phone him, and they get in Tampere, and just get rid of everything. Well, I'm telling them he doesn't represent me. He just tells them that there's no case, nothing's wrong, etc. Drop all the cases, right? So, anyways,
This
so
phone call is not going to not going anywhere actually.
well, then the point is where you guys should be concerned is I then go to your office and I have that recorded. I recorded the video of reporting in person in your building that I fear, including I fear being murdered by organized crime, because at that point I had not given evidence to anybody. I had not told my story to anybody. Months have gone by, not interviewed by any police, never phoned. I'm put under investigation for the crime of sending too many messages, which is not even a crime. Why? Because
What do you want? What is the point that you wish? Yeah.
well, I wanted to clarify the jurisdiction. So for sure, that's been clarified. The Helsinki police chief has no jurisdiction to do anything about crime in Tampere. So thanks for clarifying that. I have now you can be proactive, and that would, in my opinion, be less embarrassing. Because I have the audio. I then phoned this Helsinki police chief, ask him like, why didn't he phone me? And he then first he tells me to shut up. So anyway, if anybody complains about my attitude, I'll just replay this again and again and again. Helsinki police chief telling me to shut up, right? Then and like I have no obligation to be polite, but I think the Helsinki police chief should. First he tells me to shut up. Then he explains that yeah, he didn't phone me because 70% of police.
Okay,
Just a minute, just a minute.
I'm not really interested of what did you discuss with the chief of Helsinki Police Department.
Well, he had no evidence. He says I said because his subordinate, like when I reported in person
So
in Helsinki.
have you complained? Have you made
Yeah, you
official
answered
complaint?
me. You answered me.
Yeah.
I already put all this in email, and you personally answered me. The reason I'm talking to you is because I have your name on a letter that you sent to me.
Yes.
And now you're saying you have no clue what I'm talking about. But I've already described all of this in email. And the law is you have to do something about reasonable suspicion of a crime. There's no bureaucratic hoops I have to go through. I'm the chair. I'm a CEO of a corporation in Switzerland. You responded to me about these events. Now, the Helsinki police chief, covering for the Tikkurila police chief, because the day before I reported in Helsinki, I reported in Tikkurila. They assaulted me. Like once they listened to me for an hour. Finally, I was being listened to by a professional, just going through the story. Calm down. We know it's emotional. Answer our questions. That happened for an hour. They told me to start at the start, so I started at the start of how all the money laundering started, right? And we're talking. I have emails. Just a minute. I have emails where they say they secured $260 million US. That's 6 times more illicit funds than Finnish authorities have recovered in the whole last reported year, right?
I found now the answer that's been sent to you by us, and yes, you've been instructed to file a criminal report. You have been.
I've already done that.
Okay, and
And
you
then-
have been instructed.
Well, the next step, I've already talked to the police, the justice commissioner. So next step is talking to them. The amount of bureaucratic hoops. The Tikkurila police told me like they already reactivated the criminal cases that like I complain about Tampere police in Tikkurila. Why was my cases shut down? I then present new evidence that I just got anyways because I got returned to the board and I got all the evidence, board minutes, etc., all way more evidence about how these crimes were committed. I present this to Tikkurila police. They say, "Oh yeah, well this is new evidence. We'll reopen the cases." So they reopen. I see them click on the button that they like before they.
So you have your cases in the police departments, and this
No, but then it disappears. So this whole thing that I report crime properly, like I go in person, right, in the Tampere police station. I hand them the evidence. They hand it back. They say you got to spew it online, got to go through some bureaucratic hoops, right? I do that. I file it online. I attach the evidence. Then I never get phoned about it. I never get any email about it. No information. Then I'm put under investigation. Then they talk to an attorney who is not even my attorney, has no power of attorney. They get rid of everything. I go to Tikkurila, complain again. I have a right. I talk to the parliamentary ombudsman. I talk to the.
Explaining this again to me.
Yeah, well, that's called reporting it correctly, right? So the next step is gonna be I just go send everything to the justice commissioner, right? Who I've already talked to, and of course I can send it to you, and I can complain about everybody.
I don't want it. You complain where you want to complain, but don't.
Yeah, but I've already complained to you. You send me a letter and you say false statements such as unsubstantiated allegations. Well, nothing of what I sent was unsubstantiated, and that's a false statement, right? Which you could correct in good faith. You could be like, well, I didn't look into it. I shouldn't say something's unsubstantiated if it's totally substantiated, and I'll relook into it again. So you can act in good faith and correct your false statement. But you didn't. Your letter doesn't say just, oh well, complain this way. It states these unsubstantiated allegations. That's a pretty strong statement coming from a police officer, and that is totally false. I have recordings of the Helsinki police chief. I have his letters. I have in the recording he says that it was. I'm like, what evidence did you base anything on? Because the police in Helsinki didn't take any of my evidence. They said only.
What were the instructions? What were the instructions in the letter to how to file a criminal report?
I know. I've already done that several times.
Yes.
So the next step is going public, right? In which case, everybody involved in this is going to get fired, and there'll be an investigation.
No, not likely, but you can go ahead.
You guys don't understand how serious organized crime is. You seem to think it's a fucking joke. But nobody in society likes police corruption.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
This
obviously.
phone call is not going,
No. You got report of a serious crime that's under your jurisdiction, right? You just said, yeah, of course, corporations and KPMG, if they're money laundering.
This phone call is not going anywhere.
It is going somewhere. It is going somewhere. You're making a fool of. You're making.
You have been instructed written.
No. This is about your statement. You make a statement to me that is false, unsubstantiated. That means there's no evidence. That's what unsubstantiated means.
How to file a complaint.
Yeah, no. But why do you say this statement if you haven't if you just said, oh, you have to file a complaint this way? Okay, whatever. I would have done that. But you say it's unsubstantiated. You put your reputation on the line. You put your reputation on the line. You put your reputation on. No. This is about your claim. This is about your claim. Why? What? You've already claimed it's unsubstantiated.
And I'm going to wish you have a nice weekend, and I'm going to finish this phone call.
So the police chief, Helsinki police chief, helping to launder money is of no concern to you, and hearing about it on a phone call is of no concern to you. And KPMG, as CEO, I go to KPMG with all of this evidence. And the auditor says she can't do anything. Like, why the hell do you hire auditors and pay them for years to oversee your company if they can't do anything about money laundering? And I'm still CEO. I have the email emergency blackmail. I'm being blackmailed to cover up a money laundering case. I send this still as CEO of a corporation to KPMG. And then I have emails where police just lie to me, say that there was I have an email from one police officer one day. She says she's going to send me times to come in for questioning. Because she phones me up, tells me I have the right to refuse closing the investigation. Because she wants to close the investigation because obviously I haven't committed any crime. I said, great, I will exercise that right. I've been trying to talk to police for months, being interviewed, say what I have to say, present all the evidence for months, properly interviewed by police. So yes, I refuse. All this is bad faith just to intimidate me, to try to get me to sign severance. And when that was clearly not going to work, whatever, they want to get rid of the case. So that's the whole point of the right to refuse closing the investigation, is if it's done in bad faith and it can backfire against the person harassing you legally. So I exercise that right. She sends me an email I'll send you times to come in for questioning next week. Great, perfect. 3 days later, she sends me another email that she talked to her boss, and they're not going to let me refuse closing the investigation because it's never been done before. Then she tells me I have to about the money laundering, because I explained the money laundering to her and how all this was about money laundering and to intimidate me and to get me to sign severance and to shut up, etc. I've already been bribed and blackmailed and so on, right? And then she says in her email about the money laundering, report that yourself to the National Bureau of Investigations. So what am I doing now? I'm reporting it myself to the National Bureau of Investigations. So following police instruction leads me here to you who said, oh, these claims are unsubstantiated, but also you're not interested and also you got to complain. I already have an email, police telling me I've got to report myself money laundering to the National Bureau of Investigations. And now, oh, is it your jurisdiction or not? I don't know who, etc., etc. Well, you're just gonna get again and again. The police put an email, report yourself money laundering to the National Bureau of Investigations. Now we have this phone call, doesn't seem to interest you. And guess what? And as you say, it's not possible to report yourself, blah, blah, blah. There's all these bureaucratic hoops and blah, blah, blah. Well, why did the police officer, senior constable, tell me in email, report yourself money laundering to the National Bureau of Investigations? So, like, the more bad faith you guys are, the more transparently corrupt it is. And yes, no one likes corrupt cops. No one likes organized crime.